Hello, my friend. Let me tell you something truly powerful. Within you, yes, within you, there lies a strength, a greatness, a confidence that is waiting to be awakened. You were not born to cower or to live in the shadow of fear. No, you were created by the Almighty with purpose, with potential, and with power. And when you begin to believe that truth, not just in your mind, but deep in your heart, everything begins to change. I've seen it again and again. The timid soul who learns to trust in God and in themselves becomes a mighty force. They walk differently. They speak with assurance. They act with purpose. That's the power of unshakable confidence, not arrogance, not pride, but a sacred certainty that you are backed by divine strength. Confidence is not a gift for a lucky few. It is a habit, a discipline, a decision. And I promise you this, when you begin to build your life on faith, on truth, and on God's promises, nothing can shake you, not doubt, not failure, not fear. The world may tremble, but you will stand firm. Why? Because your confidence is not built on sand, but on the rock eternal. You are meant for greatness. Let that truth sink deep into your soul. You were not placed on this earth by accident, nor are you here to simply exist. You are here with divine purpose. You were designed by a Creator who makes no mistakes. Every feature of your being, your talents, your personality, your dreams, they are all a part of a holy blueprint that has been written just for you. And when you begin to believe that, truly believe it, something changes inside you. A quiet strength rises. A boldness begins to bloom. You see, faith in yourself is not vanity. It is an act of faith in God's craftsmanship. When you believe in yourself, you are not simply trusting your own strength. You are trusting the one who made you. You are saying, Lord, I believe you knew what you were doing when you made me. I believe you didn't leave me out when you were handing out power, purpose, and passion. And that belief begins to shape your life. Far too many people walk around carrying the heavy burden of inferiority. They say, I'm not good enough, or I could never do something like that. But let me tell you something. When you say, I'm not good enough, you're insulting the one who created you. You're calling God's handiwork flawed. But my friend, God doesn't create junk. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and every fiber of your being was woven together with intention, care, and purpose. That greatness inside you, it doesn't always roar. Sometimes it begins as a whisper. Sometimes it hides behind fear or past failures or harsh words from others. But it's still there. It never left you. All it needs is for you to believe in it, and belief is a choice. You don't need to feel confident to choose confidence. You don't need to feel strong to take a strong step forward. You just need to say, God made me for a reason, and I'm going to walk in that truth today. That's where the power begins. That's where the transformation starts. Because when you believe in your divine design, you begin to act like it. You hold your head a little higher. You speak with more authority. You treat yourself with more respect, and others begin to notice. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they see the light inside you shining more brightly. Confidence isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's not about being louder or bolder or more talented. It's about standing in the quiet assurance that you were made by the hands of a perfect Creator, and that your life has meaning beyond what the world can measure. You were made on purpose, with purpose, and for a purpose. So don't shrink back. Don't silence that dream. Don't let fear tell you that you can't. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are a child of the Most High God. And when you believe that, really believe it, you unlock something unstoppable. You are meant for greatness, not because of what the world says about you, but because of what God has already declared over your life. Walk in that truth, live from that truth. Let that truth become the foundation of your confidence, because once you do, nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake the belief that you were born to rise. Every single day your mind is speaking to you. The question is, what is it saying? Is it lifting you up or tearing you down? Is it feeding you fear or fueling your faith? You see, the most important conversation you will have all day is the one you have with yourself. That's why you must be intentional, deliberate, about the words you allow to take root in your mind, and that is where the power of affirmations comes in. Your thoughts shape your life. If you tell yourself that you're not capable, that you're not worthy, that you'll never succeed, those thoughts will grow, and soon you'll find yourself living in the shadow of your own doubts. But if you wake up every morning and declare the truth, that you are strong, that you are blessed, that you are equipped by God Himself, then that truth begins to transform how you live, how you speak, how you walk into every room. You must affirm daily and doubt never. This is not a gimmick or a feel-good idea. It is a spiritual discipline. It is taking control of your thought life and aligning it with God's promises, because God never called you to walk in defeat. He called you to walk in power, and the words you speak over yourself are seeds. If you plant doubt, you will reap discouragement. But if you plant faith, you will harvest confidence, peace, and boldness. Don't wait until you feel strong to speak strength. Speak it now. Say it aloud. Look in the mirror and say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not some things, all things. That means you can overcome the fear. You can start the business. You can repair the relationship. You can walk through the fire and come out without the smell of smoke. Why? Because you are not doing it alone. You are doing it through Christ, and He is your source of strength. When you start every morning with positive affirmations, you are not just encouraging yourself. You are engaging in spiritual warfare. You are rejecting the lies of the enemy and replacing them with the truth of God. The enemy wants to whisper, you'll never be enough. But your affirmation says, I am more than a conqueror. The enemy says, you've failed too many times. But your affirmation says, God's grace is sufficient for me. The enemy says, you're weak. But your affirmation shouts, when I am weak, then I am strong. Speak these truths over yourself until they become your inner soundtrack. I am chosen. I am loved. I am equipped. I am not alone. I am walking in purpose. I have divine strength within me. These are not just nice sayings. These are weapons, and when you use them daily, you build a mindset that cannot be easily shaken. And here's the beauty of it. The more you affirm truth, the less room you leave for doubt. Doubt can't live in a heart that's filled with faith. Fear cannot dominate a mind that is saturated with promise. So make it a habit. Morning, noon, and night. Speak truth. Before you step into the meeting, before you face the challenge, before you pick up the phone, speak strength over your soul. Because you are not just training your mind, you are activating your faith. You are reminding yourself who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. You are a child of God, empowered by His Spirit, guided by His hand. So affirm daily, doubt never. That is how confidence is built. One bold word of truth at a time. Keep speaking, keep believing. Your life will rise to the level of the words you speak. Fear is a natural part of life. Every person, no matter how strong, no matter how successful, no matter how faithful, has felt fear. But here's the truth you must hold close. Fear is not your master. Fear may knock on your door, but you don't have to let it in. You don't have to entertain it. You don't have to let it control your decisions or dictate your destiny, because confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the triumph over it. It is the decision to move forward even when your knees are shaking and your voice is trembling. It is the inner declaration that says, God is with me and that is enough. When fear rises, that is your moment to rise higher. When fear says, you can't, that is your cue to respond with faith and say, with God, all things are possible. Because faith doesn't remove the mountain. It gives you the strength to climb it. Faith doesn't eliminate the fire. It empowers you to walk through it without being consumed. You don't need a life free of fear to be confident. You need a heart full of trust. So many people wait until they feel brave before they act. But bravery doesn't come before action. It comes after. You build your confidence by stepping into the fear, not running away from it. The enemy would love for you to stay stuck, to stay silent, to stay small. But God has called you to move forward. He has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That means fear has no rightful place in your life. It may show up, but it does not get the final say. When you replace I can't with God can, something shifts. The weight is no longer on your shoulders alone. You begin to see your situation not through the eyes of fear, but through the lens of divine strength. You begin to say, I don't know how, but I believe God will make a way. That's not denial, that's faith. That's confidence. That's the kind of belief that has moved mountains, healed hearts, restored families, and birthed miracles. Look back at your life. How many things have you already overcome that once terrified you? How many moments did you think would break you, yet here you are still standing, still growing, still believing? That is the power of faith over fear. That is what confidence looks like. Not perfection, not boldness in every moment, but a heart that keeps saying yes to God even when it's scared. And the more you practice faith, the more your fear begins to shrink. Confidence grows through repetition. It's a muscle you build every time you choose trust over terror. Every time you speak truth instead of surrendering to panic. You don't have to conquer everything today. You just need to take the next step, trusting that God is already in your tomorrow, making a way where there seems to be no way. So stand up, even if you feel unsure. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. Take the step, even if your legs tremble, because with every act of faith, you are silencing fear. You are telling the enemy, you don't win here. You are reminding your soul, I am not alone. And above all, you are saying to the world, my confidence is not in what I can do, but in the one who is with me. That is real confidence, not the absence of fear, but the presence of faith. That is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary forces of hope, courage, and victory. So don't wait for fear to leave. Walk through it, walk by faith, and let God do what only He can do. Your mind is a garden, and every thought you allow in is a seed. If you feed it with hope, love, courage, and truth, you'll grow a life filled with joy and peace. But if you let in negativity, fear, bitterness, and doubt, those seeds will take root just as quickly. The condition of your life is a reflection of the condition of your thoughts. You cannot expect to live a confident, peaceful, and purpose-driven life while feeding your mind with toxic input. If you want to build unshakable confidence, you must become the gatekeeper of your mind. You must guard what you allow in, and you must be relentless in choosing to fill your thoughts with the positive, the pure, and the powerful. The world today is noisy, very noisy. Every screen, every voice, every platform is shouting for your attention, and most of those voices are filled with fear, criticism, chaos, and confusion. If you absorb that every day, even without realizing it, you begin to carry the weight of it. You begin to feel anxious without knowing why. You begin to doubt yourself without understanding where it came from. That's why it's so important to monitor what you allow into your mental space. Just like you wouldn't eat food that's spoiled, you shouldn't consume thoughts and messages that are poisonous to your soul. Start your day not with fear-based headlines or toxic comparison on social media, but with truth. Read scripture, listen to uplifting teachings, reflect on the promises of God. Put your mind in the presence of hope before the world has a chance to feed it despair. Begin with a devotional, a prayer, or a moment of stillness where you remind yourself of who you are and who God is. When you fill your mind with truth first, you become stronger in filtering out the lies that come later in the day. Throughout your day, continue to choose your input wisely. Spend time around people who speak life, not those who drain your energy with gossip, criticism, or negativity. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their words, their attitudes, their perspectives begin to influence your own. So surround yourself with those who believe in growth, who speak of possibilities, who lift your vision instead of shrinking it. If you find yourself falling into a spiral of discouragement, take a step back and ask yourself, what have I been feeding my mind? If the answer is news filled with fear, conversations filled with doubt, and self-talk filled with criticism, it's no wonder you feel empty. The good news is that you can change that. You can take control right now. You can choose to feed your mind something better. Put on a message that inspires you. Read a chapter that uplifts you. Speak a truth that reminds you of your worth. And be consistent. Just like a healthy body is the result of regular, intentional choices, a healthy mind is the result of daily mental discipline. Confidence isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. It grows every time you choose to focus on what is good, true, and hopeful. The more you feed your mind positive thoughts, the more natural it becomes. Soon, it won't be effort. It will be instinct. You'll think confidently because you've trained your mind to do so. You have the power to direct your thoughts. You are not a victim of the world's noise. You are not helpless against the negativity around you. You can rise above it by choosing to feed your mind with what nourishes your spirit. And when you do, you'll feel your confidence growing, your perspective lifting, and your inner strength becoming unshakable. Confidence does not come fully formed. It's not something that appears all at once like a lightning strike. It grows, it develops, it builds over time, and the way it grows is through action, not through dreaming, not through planning alone, but through doing, through taking small, deliberate steps and recognizing the progress as you go. Each step, no matter how small it may seem, becomes a building block of inner strength. That is how confidence is born and how it becomes unshakable. Too many people wait for a perfect moment to start. They wait until they feel completely ready. But here's the truth. You won't feel ready. You'll feel uncertain. You'll feel fear and self-doubt. But that's exactly when you must take the first step. Because action creates momentum, and momentum fuels confidence. When you act, even with trembling hands, you tell your mind, I am capable. And that single step, though small, becomes evidence. It becomes proof that you can move forward, even if you're scared. Start where you are. Don't despise the small beginnings. Maybe today all you can do is make one phone call, write one page, take one walk, have one conversation. Do that, because in that small win, something powerful is happening. You're training your mind to associate movement with success. You're shifting your focus from fear to progress, and that shift begins to change the way you see yourself. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take it one step at a time. And with every step, you get stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. You start to believe, if I made it this far, maybe I can go a little further. That belief grows with each small victory. And before you know it, you've built momentum that becomes hard to stop. Celebrate those small wins. Don't brush them off. Don't say it was nothing or it wasn't enough, because it was something. It was enough for today. Each time you acknowledge progress, you reinforce your confidence. You build a track record of achievement, even if it's quiet and unseen by others. Those moments matter. That first day at the gym, that first chapter of your book, that first time you said no to what used to defeat you, all of it adds up. And when setbacks come, and they will, don't view them as failure. View them as part of the process. Every champion has stumbled. Every strong soul has had weak days. But what separates the confident from the uncertain is that the confident person keeps going. They fall, and then they rise. They don't measure success by perfection, but by progress. They don't wait to feel brave. They build their bravery by continuing forward. Your confidence is not found in the giant leaps. It's found in the quiet consistency, the daily choices, the steady rise. And as you continue, something incredible happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe deep in your soul that you are someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit, someone who has the power to change their life one step at a time. So take that small step today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Begin where you are with what you have and let that be enough. Give it your best, and then tomorrow give your best again. Because small wins over time become great victories. They become a life filled with purpose, strength, and unshakable confidence. Keep moving forward, keep stacking your wins, and one day you'll look back and realize you've built something extraordinary, one small step at a time. The people you choose to keep close to you will either build you up or tear you down. They will either speak life into your dreams or plant seeds of doubt into your heart. That's why one of the greatest secrets to building unshakable confidence is to surround yourself with faith-filled people. People who see the good in you even when you don't. People who remind you of what's possible when your vision is clouded by fear. People who don't just believe in your potential. They believe in the power of God working through you. These are the people who will help you rise. Confidence is contagious. When you're around people who walk with faith, speak with hope, and live with boldness, it begins to rub off on you. You begin to think bigger. You begin to speak more boldly. You begin to believe more deeply. Why? Because the spirit of courage is in the air. You're breathing it in every time you're around them. And that energy, that faith, that enthusiasm, it stirs something inside you. It wakes up the part of you that was made for more. On the other hand, if you're constantly surrounded by people who are negative, fearful, or cynical, it will weigh you down. You'll start to doubt your calling. You'll, second, guess your direction, not because you're weak, but because your environment is draining you. You see, discouragement is also contagious. If you listen to people who always talk about what can't be done, eventually, you'll stop believing in what can be done. If you surround yourself with those who complain, criticize, and always expect the worst, your faith will shrink. It's not just about avoiding toxic behavior, it's about protecting your spirit. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. Even the strongest need support. Even the most faithful need encouragement. That's why God places people in our lives to walk with us, pray for us, speak truth to us, and remind us of who we are when we forget. Look for those people. Seek out friends, mentors, and community who live by faith, who speak life, who push you to grow and stretch and step out in boldness. And when you find them, cherish them, stay close. Learn from them, let their faith stir your own, and don't be afraid to make changes in your circle. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do for your confidence is to create distance from those who constantly pull you down. This doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you stop giving them the front row seat in your life. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to argue. Just quietly, kindly, intentionally begin to reposition yourself. Your growth requires it. Your calling demands it. Build a circle that reflects your vision. Surround yourself with those who talk about faith, not fear, possibilities, not problems, action, not excuses. Spend time with those who believe in prayer, in purpose, in miracles. Watch how your mindset shifts. Watch how your confidence grows. Because when you walk with lions, you stop fearing the roar. When you walk with the faithful, you stop being shaken by doubt. And don't just seek to receive this energy. Be the one who gives it. Be the encourager. Be the faith-filled voice in someone else's life, because confidence grows when you lift others too. As you pour into them, you'll find God pouring more into you. It becomes a cycle of strength, a rhythm of faith, a life of connection and growth. Who you surround yourself with matters more than you know. They are either watering your growth or stunting it. Choose wisely. Build your circle with intention, and watch as your confidence becomes stronger, deeper, and truly unshakable. Prayer is not just a ritual. It is not a quiet whisper sent into the heavens with hope and hesitation. Prayer is power. Prayer is confidence in conversation with the Creator of the universe. When you pray, you are not speaking into empty space. You are speaking directly to the one who shaped stars, parted seas, healed the sick, and raised the dead. And when you approach God with that awareness, with that level of certainty, everything in your world begins to shift. Prayer is not about using perfect words. It's not about long sentences or beautiful phrasing. It's about honesty. It's about faith. It's about relationship. You don't have to come to God pretending to be strong. You can come trembling. You can come broken. You can come uncertain. What matters is that you come boldly with a heart that says, Lord, I believe you can do what no one else can. That's where powerful prayer begins, not with your ability, but with His. When you pray, you're stepping into a divine conversation where heaven leans in to listen. The Bible says, ask and you shall receive. It doesn't say, ask timidly and maybe something might happen. It says ask. Ask with authority. Ask with expectation. Ask knowing that your words carry weight when they are filled with faith, because prayer is not about hoping something might change. It's about declaring that something will change because God is faithful. You see, prayer is not only a request, it is a release. When you pray, you're not only asking for help, you're letting go of control. You're saying, God, I trust you more than I trust my own strength. I believe that even when I cannot see the answer, you are working behind the scenes. That level of trust builds unshakable confidence because it moves your dependence from your limited ability to his limitless power. Some people pray small because they are afraid to be disappointed. But God didn't call you to pray safe prayers. He called you to pray bold prayers, the kind of prayers that stretch your faith, the kind of prayers that invite miracles. You don't have to shrink your request to fit human possibility. You serve a supernatural God who specializes in the impossible. So don't just pray for strength to endure. Pray for the miracle that will change everything. Don't just pray for survival, pray for breakthrough. Prayer is not passive. It's one of the most powerful actions you can take. When you pray, you're fighting battles in the spirit that you could never win in the flesh. When you pray, you're opening doors that no man can shut. When you pray, you're unlocking peace that passes understanding. And when you do it consistently, with expectation, with faith, and with heart, you begin to see miracles unfold in ways you never imagined. And don't be discouraged if the answer doesn't come immediately. Some prayers are answered in a moment, and others are answered over time. But one thing is always true: no prayer goes unheard. No prayer is wasted. Sometimes God answers through a miracle, and sometimes he answers by changing your heart, by strengthening your spirit, by preparing you for something greater than you even knew to ask for. So keep praying, keep believing, keep showing up in that secret place where you and God meet. Make prayer not just a reaction to trouble, but a lifestyle of trust. Pray when things are good. Pray when things are hard. Pray when you don't know what to do. Just pray, and as you pray, expect miracles, expect peace, expect change, expect God to move, because he hears you, he sees you. And when you pray powerfully with faith and expectation, you invite the supernatural into your ordinary. And that, my friend, is how you begin to live a life filled with unshakable confidence. Walk out today with your head held high, your heart full of faith, and your spirit ablaze with the power of God, because when you believe in him and in the greatness he placed within you, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand in your way.